Hey, welcome back. Ash Kendra here from NTFC Media. How you going? Today we're going to look at the 2019 ICAST, our wrap up, what I liked, what I didn't like, and what's coming out for the next 12 months. Let's go check it out. Hey guys, how are we? Okay, here we go, 2019, the wrap up. Was a great show, some really good things. From that preview video, a couple of guesses I sort of went with come to fruition. I said Garmin was going to have to come out with a trolley motor to keep up. They did. They also came out with a range of sounders, so that was cool. So some good things happened, and there was some things that I sort of hoped that I expected to happen and just didn't happen. So let's get on with it and talk about what we found. First up is the Abu Garcia Veracity range of rods. Had a look at them. They looked like a really nice rod. I think there's like 24 models in the range, so pretty much covering everything all the way up to swing baits. They're nice colour, nice red colour you'll see up here. And they tested these out and showed off their extra strength, up to 30% stronger they were claiming than the previous. I believe they were out a couple of years ago from what they were talking about. And they displayed this by putting a 10-pound kettlebell hanging off a rod for the period of the show. Next up, AFCO. They brought out their Yuri range of shirts. It's a hoodie, as you can see here, with the face mask built in, breathable technology, good range of colours, nice and light shirt, which is what you need for fishing. What we do need from the shirts, and I did contact after last year's show, was a tournament shirt. I got these done in China, but they're printed with all our sponsors, and you need it to be basically white so you can get whatever your colours and whatever printed on it. I was hoping they were going to bring out a tournament range of shirts this year, one of them, and there was still, yet again, nothing. So that was a disappointing part of the show. Nothing there for the tournament guys. Don't have to be a professional to want to have some nice gear to fishing. It would be nice if these fantastic shirts like this are able to come in a plain white, purely for tournament fishing. So the guys can print them on either for the men and the ladies. That would be great. If I could have bought some good, really nice shirts and got them sublimate printed, I probably would have gone down that alley to make sure you get a good quality shirt. It's always a bit of a scare when you go over. I was very lucky this time I got a good supplier, but to have a nice shirt like this with all my printing on would have been fantastic. So I think that's something next year. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, they supply us. They just got to bring it out. I don't think it's too much to ask for. It's only just a white shirt, and you can just sell it off as a tournament range. I think that's very easily done. Next up, 13 fishing. Fused carbon rods. Only 1,500 are going to be made in the bait cast in the first year of this model, and then 1,500 the following year for spinning. I'm not sure why. Obviously, something to do with supply and demand, and they might want to see what they've got, can and can't sell. Yeah, the big thing was this, and I thought was really good, was the actual reel seat and handle that you hold on to, as you can see here, is fused to the actual rod itself. They didn't explain the process on that, just that it's fused, and that obviously that sensitivity basically feels straight to the line while you hold on to the rod. So next up, we've got the Arc Rods Reinforcer series. Now this rod I was really excited about. If you watch this video up on the Tackle Warehouse site, you'll see that what they're talking about is it's a 46-ton Torre graphite blank, so super high quality blank there. And what they've done is they've put a carbon nanotube in between the layers of carbon fibre, and then they use a high pressure roll. So basically, I guess if you've got the carbon fibre, the roll, the outside of the tube, and then there must be another layer on the inside with a carbon in there for strength, and then they high pressure roll it, and what they're saying that evens out the weave, so instead of having it sort of a scatter, I guess, on the carbon weave, it's a nice direct, straight, so it gives it that more strength. Looks like a great rod. sounds like the technology is really good. I've looked at arc rods a couple of times. I nearly bought one last year. I just didn't have enough money there, so they look fantastic, and I think this will be a fantastic rod if you're keen to get a new rod. Definitely, and it's going to be a high-end rod, so probably looking $300 to $400 US. Now, chase baits. I believe this is originally an Australian company. Australian guy that we got the information off. They're bringing out a new mud bug. It's called the Chase Baits Mud Bug, which is basically like a little, for us, we call them cherrapin. We get them this big up in the territory. Or a yabby, or in the States, a little crawfish, I guess. It's really well presented. You can have a look at the video here. It swims really well. It sits, puts its claws up when it's sitting down, which is good. I was really impressed. I think a lot this year there was more guys who actually putting their lures through the tank. It's fantastic to sit there and talk about a lure, but to actually see what it does in the water, even in just over a couple of feet, makes a big difference. And you can see with this lure here that it just sat right. It swam. You could see the little claws popping around, and I think it's another one being a soft plastic. I think it'll go really well. There was a lot of these baby crawls in the soft plastics. Last year's live target, they won best in show for the soft plastic lure. This year, there's crawls everywhere. To pick up a bunch of those, the new ones this year would be this one from Chase Baits. So, okay, next up, the Cuda tool holder, mini tool holder. It's a suction cup tool holder that obviously you can see here. Just suction cups onto the side of the boat. It'd be great for a center console setup on your side, so just to get some more storage where you don't want to. Sometimes on your center console you got your top rack where your sounders are. You end up with tools and lures and crap all sitting up there. This little unit looked really good. Looks really well built. You'll see in the video up here the little push button. That's to release the suction cup so you can pop it off and take it away, put it away for storage once you finish with it. But it's got room there for knives, lures on the edge, probably a net holder as well, depending on the size of those holes. It's sort of a little bit tricky to see. Split ring pliers, cutters, all that stuff. I think that's a really good, cheap little option for you, and it'd be really handy for anyone's boat, I think. Because normally you might go out by yourself, you get a couple extra blokes out there, you got a few more bits and pieces hanging around. Great to just be able to whack that on for a little bit of extra help to store your stuff, so you haven't got people jumping over people to get to stuff or piling all on your console. So yeah, that was a great job Cuda. And I'd be very interested in the price. I'm hopeful it's probably going to be around the $20 to $30 mark, I'm assuming, in America. US, so hopefully they'll bring it to Australia. That'll be a nice little addition, I think, to anyone's boat. Great job, Cuda. Okay, next we got the Daiwa DVEC rolling travel bag. Great bag. When I do travel to the Barra Classic, I normally got to take a fair bit of stuff. You get 2 bits of luggage on a plane. One of them's your rods in a rod tube, and the rest has got to try and fit into a suitcase. I can get the weight thing, but I can fit enough weight in a normal suitcase, but it's generally a bit of a pain to carry, and it's not built to handle when you've got to go and put it in the tent out in the bush when you go on the fish. So this bag looks fantastic. It's got the big rollers on it, which is really, really nice. It's got the telescopic handle, and the ability to turn it into a backpack and carry it is another great thing, especially if you're waiting in line at an airport or you've got to rush to something. Okay, now the Daiwa 300-400 series heavy duty lineup of reels. I was pretty impressed with the way they looked. Really well made, fantastic looking bit of kit, and I think they'll be really well received in Australia. As they talked about on the show, talked about your redfish and stuff down south, and even tuna, offshore sort of stuff. So this would be I can say something like the 300 or the 400 would be great for fishing. Probably 300 would be good for fishing in the territory or far north Queensland, where you want to come inshore and fish for barra or anything along those lines in your big rivers, and then go out for a day hunting dewies or snapper or anything like that offshore, bombing reefs. A sort of a great universal rod and high quality. Looked really sharp, and I think that will be a pretty big seller for Diver. That's something that if you only want to buy one reel and you want to do offshore and inshore, no matter where you are and what you're fishing for, I think as long as the fish are decent size, that this reel is definitely what you want to be looking at. A fantastic reel. Yeah, really impressed Diver. I really like that one. Now in the preview show, in my preview video, I discussed how Shimano hadn't really come out with a high-end rod range for a while. The new Conquest I've got, which you'll see the video on my library, absolutely beautiful rod that I fell in love with when I used it, and it is my #1 rod. That was 2012 ICAST winner. It's now 2019, and they didn't release another high-end range that I know of. They released a couple of mid-tiers and some low-end stuff. But Daiwa's come out here with this is a rod range to reflect basically a rod range that comes from the Japanese collection, and they've renamed it and set up the features of them to suit the American base. But really high quality, really good looking rods. Expensive, he was saying $300 to $400 per rod, so that's definitely going to be around that 800 odd bucks in Australia, maybe even higher, maybe in the grand mark, depending on what size they are. But Daiwa's obviously come out really strong this year and really wanted to really get some of that market share back off Shimano. For them to come out with a high range of rods like this, JDM ones, was really impressive. They look really nice. They had a similar thing in there to the Shimano Spiral X. Obviously, they called it a different name. I didn't catch what it said. I can't remember off the top of my head. But you can see it when he brings it up close. If you have a look at the video, you'll be able to see it, and it's got that same sort of pattern as the Conquest, Shimano Conquest. So that Spiral X in there, and now this is a really interesting one. The Daiwa ProRex Wind Grip Telescopic Rod Combo or Rod. Now you can see that it's got looks like a 300, one of the 300 series, so a big reel. That having that wind grip and a big long handle on there, so it's a big rod. I think it's a 7.6 from memory. So it's a fairly big rod, but it's a telescopic one for storage that I haven't seen. There was two shows. Spiral had a telescopic rod, and Daiwa had this telescopic rod. So that was the two telescopic rods. Now this was a good rod. But again, probably a little bit biased towards us in Australia. Daiwa TWS coastal rod, coastal reel, specifically built for inshore, light offshore stuff. So us Barra guys, mangrove jacks, all the stuff on the coastline and up the rivers where we're fishing in the salt water all the time. Really nice colour, really nice reel. Typical Daiwa, it's got a 100mm handle, had all the really nice grips on it. Looked like a fantastic reel. Infinity braking system, so got no backlash. And that was one of the other things I talked about, being a coastal with the wind. They wanted that in there so you could just cast in the wind and never get any backlash. So this Infinity braking system, they're really confident on that with the backlash. Obviously, Shimano has its DC to do that. So I think this would be a really nice reel. If you are a Daiwa guy and you're looking for a new reel, I'd say this one would be a fantastic one to get to cover you pretty much on all bases without having to worry about a freshwater reel or a saltwater reel. This would be a decently high-end one and it'll get you through. Okay, next up we've got the Flash Arrow Flash Vibe. Now you can see here it's a little weighted jig. Put your soft plastic on, but the feature I really liked about it is the fact that you can see up on the top here the little adjustable holes on the top of the weighted section of the jig. That's your vibration adjustment. So if you put it right on that front one, closest to the weight, that will give you a tight vibration. The middle one is a standard setting, so like a decent sort of a whack, obviously depending on the tail you put on it as well. And put it to the rear to get more heat, more action. So depending on what you need to do, this looked like a really well thought out, and having that adjustment in there, I thought it was definitely worth putting on the list. It was a really nice, well thought out lure. It's from Japan, so they're really good at making high quality lures, so you know it's going to be a decent lure. Might be a little bit exy, but yeah, I think it's something having that adjustment in there was pretty smart, so I thought I'd chuck that in and let you know. Nice bit of gear. It's the Flash Arrow Flash 5, so definitely check that one out. Okay, tackle storage. Let's talk some tackle storage here. Flambeau rigging box. Nice bit of kit. This is a good one to have on your comp, on your deck to put your main stuff in, or if you have got limited room, or if you're going on someone else's boat, you don't want to take your whole box for a day, so you can just pick up this. The 2 levels on it are really good. Plenty of storage in there. Really well thought out, really well sealed. Good size. Looks like a really good size. You can fit a half a dozen lures in there, line, cutters, your camera, your GoPro in there, all the other stuff. So I think that'd be really good. I was really impressed with that one, so I thought I'd better show you that. Michael Canelli, obviously in there. He's one of the main guys for them, so he was pretty impressed by it as well. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, so here's another Flambeau one. Now this is as you can see here, it's set up for a kayak, but it's in Australia we've got more of a deeper boat that we take sort of barrow fishing, and that's why I put this one in there. With different sort of a boat setup, we generally don't have that underfloor storage like the bass boats. So storage can be a little bit painful for us. So even though this is set up for a kayak, it's a good little box. It's got extra rod holders on it that you can customize and put them where you want. So if you normally only got like 4 or 5 spots on your boat, and you've got 3 or 4 or 5 who's going out fishing for the day, people want to bring 1 or 2 rods. If everyone brings 1 or 2 rods, you get 10 rods. You only got 5 or 6 spots. You need another spot for 4. So having this box here gives you those extra 4 rod holders. You can customize it to sit them where they want to sit. It's a fully customizable box. Storage in the top. It's got room there for extra lures. So if people want to bring their lures, they can chuck the boxes in, so they're not laying around the floors, not in the gunnels or anywhere else. They're going to be a bit painful, rattling around while you're fishing. And it's an extra seat. You put a little cushion on the top, you got an extra seat. That's the only thing I thought would be missing out of it, and I think it's only because it's probably aimed at the kayaks, is if you put if Flambeau just put a little cushion seat on top, or have that as an accessory. They might be able to add that in down the road, something where you can just attach a little cushion on so you can sit on it. That would make that a perfect feature. If you are listening, Flambeau, make a little Flambeau cushion up that'll attach to that. Mignon. Great little box, and I thought I'd throw it in there specifically for us guys in Australia with a different style of boats that need a little bit of storage, and yeah, I think those guys will appreciate it. The bass guys, you've got a ton of storage in your boat, so it probably really doesn't make sense. But again, for the kayak guys too, that's a brilliant bit of kit. Really well thought out. Garmin Echo Map Ultra. Okay, now Garmin's stepped up their game this year. They've stood up and said, hey, we want to, don't forget about us. We're coming for you. Lawrence Minn Kota, we're coming for you. Lawrence Hummingbird, we're coming for you. Not only, so they've come out with this big range. So this year, 10s, 12 inches, brand new Echo Sounders, full of features. It's got all your side scans, it's high definition, syncs up to their new Garmin trolley motor, which we'll talk about shortly. Fully detachable face, which is by them, so that's a really good idea. That's something I do really like about the Garmin. You can just take it off. If you can buy the mounts separately. So even if you've only got one of these units and you want to have one up the front, you don't want to buy 2 units because they cost a fortune here in Australia. A hell of a lot cheaper, adversely for the American market. You're going to put a mount on the front of your boat, mount on your console, pop it in, and when you want to go fish, do some casting, once you've got it set up, just take your your fish finder with you, go and put that in the mount, and away you go. So that's a really good feature. So full touchscreen, I think it's 600 nits of display brightness or something like that. So really bright display. It's got all your trolley motors or trolley motor controls will come across the top of the screen. It's got the quick buttons, hotkey buttons there, so your favourite things you can hit, so you don't have to go through menus or anything like that. Really nice bits of kit, so they've done it pretty well there, and it's obvious Garmin are taking the fishing market really, really serious because they've definitely stepped up this year, so definitely ones to watch. And obviously that live scope of theirs, I've seen bits and pieces on the Lawrence, but the live scope I still think is the number one in that live realm. So now having that larger screen that you can watch on there and do the thing. So yeah, well done Garmin. It's pretty nice bit of gear. And then this was the big one, the Garmin Force trolley motor. Well, hasn't this caused some controversy? The social media was picking up about this and against the Lawrence. We'll look at the Lawrence down the track once we get to the L's. I had a look at them, and I went back through them, and I went back through them, and I looked at both of them, and I looked at this one, and it's this one best item in the show, Garmin Force. Now it's got some fantastic ideas on it, and it's been done really, really well. Obviously, it's brushless. The foot pedal's completely wireless. It runs on AA batteries, I believe, and I don't think you need them. I think they're saying it's like 3 months it'll last without having to change the batteries. And AA's stuff, or you can have them in your dash. That's easy. You just change them out before you go fishing, and you can even have spares in a box. So that's not a real big ask. So fully wireless, so no cables going anywhere. You don't have to plumb anything. Brushless motor, so that's quietness, the power usage and all that. So I think that's now the standard is brushless. Lawrence has obviously gone brushless. Lawrence had a ability to change from 24 to 36 volt to change it on the fly. So I think Lawrence had sort of that side had the edge. It does have an inbuilt transducer, but you can't change this one. This one's set. It's an ultra high definition. The rest of it, really high quality. Shafts, all the same. It's got a warranty, 5-year warranty on the shafts, or I think they've all got the warranties. Lawrence has got the warranties. All the rest the same. But the only thing I found was annoying from both Garmin and Lawrence is Garmin brought out live scope, but then they upped the ante last year and made it fantastic and just a total awesome bit of gear. Lawrence then chased them down and bring out live sight, and that's an awesome bit of gear for the Lawrence guys. They've both brought out a trolley motor for the first time, but there's no live sight built into it. So you've still got to go and bolt on with a spare bracket the live sight unit. That doesn't make sense. There's not even the thought of an actual set mounting point, so it's just a bolt on, bolt off. It's a clamp that can pivot, like on the live side one, and you're going to have to do the same with this Garmin one. You're going to have to get the shaft and put a clamp. It's going to have like either a U-bolt or some sort of clamp on there. It's not going to be a screw in, so it's locked and not going to go anywhere. If you hit something, it's not going to spin around or anything. Having said that, they're both going to be using live sight. You're not going to get that and not have the live sight. If you're going to spend $3,000 US on a Lawrence one, you're definitely going to have the live sight, and you'd be crazy if you don't. The only problem I found was with both of them, the Garmin one, you can still see the head moving, so you know where it's facing. So bearing wise, if you've got live sight, you're looking down at the screen, you're seeing the fish there, and you're looking up, you sort of you've got that big head to follow as you guide. So if it's over there, if you're facing it over there, you look down at your screen, yeah, fish, right, beautiful. With the Lawrence, because of the way they've done it, and it's bad and it's good, the whole shaft doesn't spin, which is fantastic, so there's less moving parts to break. Great idea. But you've only got that centre head. Now that centre head's the same coloured plastic. It's like a dark grey or black or whatever it is. I think it does have an arrow on it, but it's not really bright. So maybe Lawrence, in an update or before they bring it out, that top part in the head that spins, I think you need to either make that like a fluoro arrow or a bright red arrow or something that stands out, so it's easy for the guys that are fishing. They're looking down and fishing, and they can just look at that and see where the head's facing, so they know and they can get their bearings, if that makes sense. That's the only thing I sort of saw in that regards. Lawrence, with their different transducers, they didn't talk about changing out. They talked about changing from ultra high definition to a standard to whatever for the transducers for pulling the cone off. And you can do it yourself, which is really good. But they didn't talk about, again, the only thing I had to say about both of them was the fact that it just did not have a live scope or a live sight built in, or the ability just to bolt it straight on somewhere. Yeah, anyway. But best in show, the only other thing with the Garmin, remote control, floating. So if you fall in, you've got the control in your hand, it's going to float down the river, you can go pick it up, scoop it up. So you're not going to lose it, you're not going to cost yourself $100, $200. And then the other one was, with the Garmin, was the gesture control. So with your remote, you just put in this mode, and you can just go like that. So if you're driving the boat, someone else is fishing there doing the casting, and especially in tournaments like the Barra Classic, this I think would be quite handy. Generally, if you've got a couple of guys trawling and someone flicking the snags, they can steer the electric motor just by gesture control. So it sort of sounded gimmicky, but I think in some circumstances it would be quite handy instead of trying to reach down and push buttons. Generally in Australia, and it's probably again a bit of bias towards Australia, sorry guys, we don't really have the foot pedals in most of the boats because they're deep boats. No one really stands up with the pedal in the decks, so it's all sort of lanyards and the remotes. So that remote, the Garmin side, is probably a little bit better suited to us Australians. The fact that you can just have that, and if you want to just steer it, you can be sitting there jigging and then just steering around and checking. And that'll be good for actually when you're checking the live sight or the live scope. Just being able to just go like that, just wait there, turn the motor, just pivot the motor, and then you can watch the fish. If you want to follow a fish, you can just follow them around with that without having to push pedals and steer and stuff like that. So there's probably the one benefit I will give Garmin over Lawrence in that department. And that's going to be purely with the live scope and the live sight part, is the fact that you can use it to spot your fish and search for fish without using pedals and buttons. So anyway, we'll move on because we'll talk about some more once we hit the Lawrence one. But yeah, really nice job, great job, Garmin. You had to bring it out. I was hoping you would, and you did. So that's fantastic, and congratulations on Best in Show. That's a really, really nice award, and good on you. Okay, now the normal leader, hummingbird, sort of turned up but didn't turn up. They brought out the 360 mega image. Now, the old 360 didn't really take off, and I think it was sort of like LiveScope when it first started. It was, yeah, you can see it, but it was very pixelated and tricky to pick up. And I think with the 360 that they'd started the technology, and yeah, you could see around the boat, so that's fantastic, but it wasn't really clear. That's obviously changed the quality, they've upped the quality, and you can see up here, that's just, yeah, wow, that's an awesome bit of kit. And I think it actually, I was assuming they were going to come out with some sort of live site thing this year. I think they've put their money into this. So they've gone, well, you know, we're already late on the boat on that. They've put all their marbles in this basket, or eggs in this basket. It's obviously fantastic. Their mega images one are definitely super high quality, and you can't knock on it. It's just an awesome sounder, and they do fantastic work. I guess once you get used to it and you can see everything around, just depends, I guess, on the refresh rate of that screen, the software and the screen for the refresh rate, and the sonar, how long it takes to get the sonar back and forth for that image and how quickly it refreshes. Because theoretically, that high quality, and you've got the 360, if you can see a fish here, depending on the refresh rate, you're going to see it moving around the boat or off anyway. So it's not moving it live, but that may be next year, but in 360. That will then put them back in front, I think. Live scope's fantastic forward, and that's great, and we like that, but I think if this might be a stage 2 of a 3-stage thing, I think you'll see that they've upped it to the mega, which you'll be able to see the fish. You'll see the fish moving. Again, depending on the refresh rate and that time period it takes to pick up that image, and I'm sure you should be able to see it with how clear it is. And I think you might, it's just a bit of a guess, I reckon their next step will be a live 360. So you can have it up and you'll have 60 foot around your boat and you can see everything moving. And that will just be, yeah. So I guess Lawrence Garmin, best you watch out, because I think they had a bit of a nap this year compared to what they normally like having, but I think next year, I think you better watch out, because I think live 360 will be coming next year. I would not be surprised. Some smart people and technology changes like that, so I can't see any reason why this doesn't become a live sonar next year. At that quality and live, yeah, I think you'll see everyone trying to get a bit of that pie. Okay, J-Braid, bit of a real one. J-Braid brought out an 8 by braid fluoro leader. High quality leader, really nice. I really like the packaging though. Sounds, just a bit of packaging to sell something, but it had a little band in there with a little brass hole on it. So as you can see in the video here, get your leader out, you just pull your line through that hole, cut it off what you need, and it doesn't go everywhere. And I don't know how many times I've had you get the little split covers on the thing, on some of the line, on your leader line and it just ends up going everywhere, and it's a pain in the butt. So just for the fact that this little smart idea, someone thought, well, this is a better way to package it, and it's going to be easy for the guys, a little elastic band, flip it around to make it black, so it's a bit more easy to see. Really good job. They do a great job with the line anyways, Darwin for that J-Braid and that J series, so it'll be a fantastic 100% fluorocarbon leader. Definitely worth something to chuck in the boat. Now, I haven't seen one of these before. This is the Genko Rip Knocker. I haven't seen one of these before. Looked pretty cool. We had a really good idea the way he explained it. Basically, there's a through hole going straight through your bait to a treble. It's got some sort of set line or high strength leader going through to where your tie-on point for your line is. That bait can just then travel up and down, obviously cast, and it's going to sit, and then when it's drawn through, it's going to be sitting down on top of the treble. The theory goes is when baits here, and the fish comes up and catches it, grabs that, and then gets caught on the treble. As it's pulling away, the bait will just float off, come up the line, and it'll just be the treble in the mouth. So this is not going to get in the way of the fish and give him any sort of assistance so he can rip it off. He's going to be stuck on that hook. Theoretically, it sounded good, and it's something I haven't seen before, so I thought, well, definitely something I didn't mind, and I liked it, so I thought I'd chuck that in for you. So definitely the Genko Rip Knocker, definitely something to look at, guys. Live target. Well, ICT was the big thing for live target this year. Inner core technology, and you can see it in the baits up here. Try and get my finger in the right spot. Basically, they're doing the high quality plastic baits with that really high definition picture quality or live fish thing, which is what they do. That's their specialty, and they put a clear plastic base over the top, so it gets the fish hunting straight towards the main part of the fish, which is where the hooks are. The tail's still there on this one, but it's clear. Now they also have done a spoon as well, and the same scenario. So your outer type of your spoon is a clear wings, and they've got the full shape, full basic picture perfect of a fish with the shape and everything on that spoon. So they call it ICT technology. So they're going to be bringing out a lot of new baits with this. What they started last year with that real high quality spitting image of baits, and they take it to the next level now, and I think this is really, really good, and I'll probably be definitely getting some of these for next year for the Classic to try out. Not really good looking baits. Another great job from Live Target, and I'm pretty sure they won, I think it was Freshwater Best of Show for this bait here. So yeah, really, really nice. Now this was another interesting one. For the guys in Australia, you might not have heard of Hydrowave before. TH Marine make it in the States. It's basically an electronic unit that punches out bait sounds, dying fish, feeding frenzy fish in electronic sounds. You attach a speaker underwater to the boat and you turn it on, and it sends out different frequencies, and basically tells all the fish, hey, come and eat us, there's a ton of fish here to come and eat us. What Livington's done here is made the Bullet Predator, and what is that little bullet type unit he's got there in his hands, that slides up and down your line. So you have your baits here, that'll slide down, and that'll emit that sound, that bait sound, off out the back directly at the bait. So the fish are going to hear it either through harmonics or whatever way the principle is. That's sitting on the bait's here, this is at the front, so it's coming out the back and shooting out the waves out the back through the back of the unit. Fish comes up, smashes that, bang, because it's coming straight for that sound. So that's the idea of that. It sounds a little gimmicky. There's a lot of those pros that swear by the Hydrowave. I'm assuming it's basically similar technology. My concern is the cost. You get a snag, you lose that. How much is that going to cost? If they're $5-6, or the same price as a normal lure, okay, it's not too bad. If they're $20-30, it's starting to get a little bit dodgy. That might be, especially for the rivers. I guess the rivers, if you're in a clear area where you can get your lure back, you generally don't get lures, or you haven't got a lot of timber where you're going to get caught up and snap lines and stuff like that. I reckon it'd be really good. Deep ocean, fantastic. Better put that on there, apart from bombies. But yeah, if you're trawling and stuff like that, definitely something worthwhile. If you're not, when you know you're not going to hit anything to lose a line. So it probably all depends on cost. So, and whether you have another rod out the back with that just sitting there trailing, punching the sound out, and then you trawl along with, if you're trawling, and then just punch that out, just sitting back 30 feet, sitting there punching the sound out, and then you've got your baits out trawling, your lures out trawling along, and then that sitting in that same measurement, that same length, So the fish are coming towards that and then seeing your bait and then smashing them. So that's probably another idea you can do. So I thought it would be worthwhile chucking in for you. Here it is. This we talked about this with the Garmin Force, but obviously you can see it's looks wise. I think this looks a lot better. This looks more heavy duty, more built to last, a higher quality trolley motor. I think it's going to be interesting over the next 12 months to see what happens and how both of them are received and how they go, I guess, under real world circumstances. Obviously they've both been tested. There's a lot of Lawrence pros out there that would have been using it. Probably less of the Garmin pros that have been using it because the Motor Guide and Lawrence are pretty much the same mob, so yeah, there would have been more guys to test this. So I guess if I had my preference, depending on whatever sounder you've got is what you're going to go with. But if you wanted to try a different unit and you haven't picked what you're going to do, if you've got a new boat coming, what would you pick? The Lawrence unit looks fantastic. I think that would pretty much knock some encoder out. I'd have to see that and see the difference between that and the Garmin together and do a real life test. I'm pretty sure a couple of the boys on YouTube are going to be doing tests on that, the Garmin versus the Lawrence soon, so that'll really show up the differences. So a fantastic looking bit of kit. Lawrence has done an awesome job. Really, really nice bit of kit and really well received. Everyone was pretty ecstatic about it, so well done, Lawrence. But yeah, so here's the other part of that was the live site. Live site's basically gone live. It's all happening now with Lawrence. The software updates have come through, the units are there. But as you can see, as I talked to you about before, the bracket that these guys have got to fit on. So you can see here that unit's got to then be mounted on the front of your beautiful, brand new Lawrence Ghost trolley motor. Now surely, on that nose cone, they could have a separate nose cone specifically built for live site, for live site, where it's got a cone and going forward, but it's got some sort of angled flat piece in the front there that the live site can use to send out its signal. I think it's a bit crazy that they designed a whole new trolley motor but didn't think about the technology that they've got, and you've then got to go bolt something onto something brand new. They were smart enough to put a removable head on the Ghost, so it's a bit weird, and I'd love to hear from Lawrence the reasons why they didn't include that in there. Because if that was, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but if that live site was built into the head of the Ghost, clear winner of the show. See, bye Garmin. And vice versa, if the Garmin had built their live scope into the actual motor's end, again, see you later, all over. I'd love to know the reasons why both of them, either Garmin or Lawrence. If you work for Garmin or Lawrence, let us know. I'd love to hear. And I'm sure everyone out there would love to know why you didn't build that into the unit or a specific mounting point for it. So it's just a clock on or a clip on or something that locks on instead of having to clamp it onto your shaft. I just don't get that. I'm sorry. Just a pet peeve, a bit of my, I guess it's my OCD, I guess, kicked in a bit there. But yeah, I wouldn't be really impressed spending that much money and having to bolt something on. Lunker Hunt Spider. I, for one, wouldn't have this in my boat because I'm petrified of spiders, but having that, I'm sure if I looked around and seen that on the boat, I'd probably jump in the river, even though there's crocodiles in the river and I'd probably be dead. Having a big, nasty spider, fantastic if the fish are eating it, but yeah, it's a little bit, looks like a great thing. Now this also, I think, won Best Soft Bait of the show this year. Freshwater soft bait. So I think the Live Target won another one, wasn't the soft bait. I'm pretty sure Lunker Baits here won the best on show. So yeah, best of show, fresh soft lure. I knew it was. So yeah, really nice lure. If you fish in the area, take on them. Definitely worth having a crack. Okay, next up we got the Lure Lock Deep Box. Fantastic bit of kit. I got some Lure Locker boxes last year. Tried them out. They do everything they say. Solid as a rock. Hold that bait in there. Really nice bit of kit. Great job. This having the two-stage system in this one. Yeah, really well thought of. Another really good box from Lure Lock. So if you need some deep storage, maybe put your reels in or the bigger lures, chuck them in there. Definitely worthwhile. Lure Lock, great job again. And another one from Lure Lock, little small unit. This is a LED Lure Lock box. I'm pretty sure it only comes in this small size though, which is a little bit strange. I'm assuming they'll expand that range and make it into the bigger boxes. But having that, as you said, what they talked about is that early in the morning when you're setting up before dawn, or if you're out night fishing, which would be even better, instead of having to turn the boat lights on and use your batteries. A small little battery in this box, you can open. As soon as you open the lid, the LED strip comes on, you can see your lure, you can use that light to tie it onto your line. Close the lid, boom, light goes away, back to fishing. Really good idea, very smart Lure Lock. My only concern is how those electronics and that light strip will go. It didn't look really waterproof, the actual little box inside, there's a little plastic box inside. How that'll go with salt water getting in there, we're fishing in, it's probably going to happen. So that'd be the only thing I'm concerned about, but a good idea nonetheless. Now, throw the cat amongst the pigeons. When Lawrence announced, or we got the rumours and I put out the video on Lawrence having their own trolling motor, we assumed that, always assumed that Motor Guide was going to be involved in it. So that's why I've chucked this one in. This is the Motor Guide Pro, and basically, apart from some cosmetics and probably some features taken out of it, this is exactly the same as the Ghost. You can see the body shape, the head shape, everything on it, on the unit, just screams Ghost. So obviously Motor Guide are still doing the stuff for Lawrence. I'm assuming with the Lawrence Ghost at the $3,000 mark, this is the Pro, and there's a next one down, another Motor Guide that they talked about, and it'll have a few less features. So the cables and stuff will be a little bit different setup, the pedals and stuff down the lower range, but I think they'll be your cost. So your Lawrence Ghost will be a premium at $3,000. This Pro model might be in at the $2,200 mark or something, and then your next one down, your basic Motor Guide one might be $1,500 mark or $1,000 or something like that US. So it's sort of pretty well done by Lawrence and Motor Guide. Motor Guide gets a flash new setup, and obviously they wanted to come out with a new bit of kit, and it looks $1 million. So if you can't afford the Lawrence and you don't want to spend that high bucks on them, but you've still got a Lawrence unit and you want something new that's got pretty much the same stuff and maybe just a few less features, check out the Pro or the standard Motor Guide, because it's all exactly the same mounting setup and all that. The body and everything looks pretty much the same. Definitely worth out to maybe save some bucks if you don't need all the features that the Ghost has. Rhino, they've been around. They're the big boys of the tackle storage industry. If they ever want to come and buy my patent for my tackle box, definitely come and catch up with us. I'd be happy to have a chat to them. This Edge series of tackle boxes looks fantastic. Having designed my own one, I know what goes into them. This is really well done, and I'm saying that is because they seem a lot bigger. The size of these boxes here are big. I bought in a fair few, like your Lure Locks and your Bass Mafias, the Flambos and all that. I've got all them at home. I've got all last year to check in to test them. and unfortunately they seem small, and I think our lures are a lot bigger in Australia. Like some of our barrel lures are like 180s and that, and we use a lot bigger lures. Even our standard barrel lures are 4 to 6 inches long, so that we don't use a lot of little stuff. So this range is fully waterproof, and it's got a restrictor in it. The whole body of it's restricted, so there's no rust, and it's waterproof. It's one-handed, a really big latch, so it's one-handed operation. Plain old brilliant. I got to give it to you. That's that whole range that I can see on that wall there. That's just fantastic. Great job. Obviously, by the time it gets to Australia, it's going to be pretty expensive. And if it even gets to Australia, I think that's going to be the biggest problem. That's really good gear, and we need that here. So Plano, please, can you make sure it goes through the distributors to Australia, because those boxes, I'd love to get a few of those boxes. That'd be great. Also on the guide series. So the guide series came out last year. It was like a high-end sort of series for them in Plano. The bags and that haven't changed. They've done some sort of basic cosmetic, I guess, or a few little features on them, and you'll see it in the little bag here. What they put is magnets in the top part of the bag. So when your bag's hitting the boat, you get your split ring pliers, braid cutters, whatever. You always put them down and picking them up and stuff. You can basically just throw it on top of your bag, and the magnets will just hold it, so it's not going to fly on the floor. You're not going to stand on it or anything like that. So brilliant idea and easy. And the little reel locker that he brings down, that reel locker here is just the duck's guts. Yeah, that's an awesome bit of kit. Great job. I definitely want one of those. Put your reels in, look after them when you're travelling and stuff like that, or even look after them when they're not in the water, so they're not getting covered in dust and crap, and they're going to stay good quality. They're going to be looked after. They cost a fortune, reels, so you definitely need something like that to look after them. So that was a really good job, the reel locker, and a great idea with the magnets in the lid to Plano. Got to give it to them. They did well. That was a really good show from them. Yeah, so next up, Savage Gear Grip trebles. So it's a bit different. So instead of your hard steel top loop of your treble, they've got a 150-pound braid for that loop. The idea behind this is when a fish grabs that lure, hard bait lure, it'll have a split ring on, so it's got a little bit of flex, maybe a couple of 100 degrees or something like that, but then it'll lock up, and then the fish can use that torque to pop itself off. With the 150-pound lead loop, they're saying they can go up to 4.5 times round before that same torque can be achieved, before it'll lock up. So that's 400. That's a hell of a lot. So really smart idea, I thought. They talk about swim bait guys. For us guys that use hard lures when we're trawling and stuff in the timber, and with the barra, I think they're a brilliant idea. Definitely going to be getting some of these and trying these out for the next season. And I'm suggesting hopefully that the other guys can get some and try them out and let us know how they go. They look like a really, really smart idea. 150-pound braid, it's not really going to break. So yeah, probably wear through after a bit, depending if they get smashed a fair bit. But yeah, I think they'll definitely work. It's a really good idea. Savage Gear also brought out the line through mullet. Basically, two styles. You've got a hook over the top or a weedless version, but line through, and two different size mullets. Really good looking mullet. Having the line through was really smart, I think. Yeah, really good job by Savage Gear. A really nice bait, and definitely something we could use in the Barrow Classic. I think the Barrow would really like it. Okay, next up, Shimano Grappler rod series. Not the high end that I was hoping for, but really nice set of rods. It's got the Spiral X technology in there, which is really good for strength. That's their stuff that's come down from the Conquest, so it's going to make it a really good rod. So they brought out a lot of sort of low to mid-range rods, no sort of upper end rods. So definitely one, if you're looking for a new rod and don't want to spend the earth, the Grappler range I think would be a really good one. Another big one that was huge for the show was the SLX baitcaster from Shimano coming out in DC. Obviously, the Corrado DC came out last year. If you haven't seen my video on the Calcutta DC, just go into my unboxings, you'll see that. I've got a great video on that. I was luckily the first one outside of Japan to get hold of one of those, and I've used it, and it's the best reel you can get. The DC is awesome. I've used the old Calcutta DCs. I haven't used the Corrado DC, but having the brand new Calcutta 2019 DC in my hands, I know just how good it is for an entry level reel. It's going to probably be around the $300 to $350 in Australia, and then I think it's about $199 in America. So probably around $300 to $350 depending on what happens there. So for an entry level to get digital breaking, that's really good. So that's Shimano definitely stepping up their game on the reel side. So yeah, really nice. This was I don't fish spinning reels to say. Territory is pretty much not really done. We grow up doing bait casters from day dot. But I know how good the Stella is, and what they were saying is this new Stratic that they've released is basically all the technology and everything from the Stella in the new Stratic. It's got a cold forward body, it's full Hagney, it's got all the bearings and full drive of the Stella in the Stratic body, and it's only $200 US. I think the Stella's about $700 US, so over $1,000 Australian. For that to come down to 200, basically, just a rebranded Stella down to 200, that's huge. They are going to sell an absolute bucket load of these things. If you are into spinning and you're looking for a new reel for Christmas, I'd say this one definitely should be on your list. I can't see Daiwa dropping something of that higher quality down. That's a massive price cut, $500 basically, from what they talked about. It's basically a different version of the Stella, of the old Stella brought into a Stratic body or Stratic branding. So if you do need a new spinning reel, and I've thought about it for doing some of the other techniques, so this is one I'd probably look at actually trying out and testing, because this is one serious bit of kit for you spinner guys. Put Stratic on your list for Christmas. Okay, St. Croix last year won 3 out of 3 for rods. They won freshwater, saltwater, and I think the kayak one for the kayak. The Mojo Bass won the kayak one, I think, last year. They won all the trophies again, 3 in it back to back, all trophy rings. I haven't used one. I hear awesome things, and they plainly must be just amazing friggin' rods, because they've just smashed it 2 years in a row. To do that, that's consistency and super high quality. They're not overpriced. If you go and look on their sites, they even have like a second shop where you can get like discounted ones and stuff like that. They have deals on all the time. They're seem like a really switched on company. Now this one, the Mojo Bass, is a fiberglass rod, and they use a new technology. So it's the old fiberglass really heavy. So this has the benefits of being light and has that flexibility and give of fiberglass. So with their name and constant awards that they win, if you want to, and for crankbaits and stuff like that, having a glass rod is your key. And if they've reduced that weight down, so it feels, basically what they're saying is it feels like a carbon rod, but with the characteristics of fiberglass. So best of both worlds. Definitely, if you're looking at something like that, this is the one to get. And yeah, I don't think you'd have any complaints. They're an amazing rod company. So well done, St. Croix. 3 in a back-to-back. Great job. That's an awesome effort. Strike King is well known in America, lure company. Van Dam works for him. He's got his own range of baits, the biggest guy in fishing, the big superstar. Strike King have come out with lines this year. They do braid, a fluoro and a mono. I think they had the three of them. What was really interesting about it, and they say it's a really high quality line, what was really interesting I found about this one, with the spool you get an envelope, and I'm assuming this is only going to be in the States. You get an envelope and you put your old line in that. It's prepaid postage. You send it back to Strike King. They'll make sure it's recycled. Thank you, Strike King. I want my kids to be able to fish, my lad Jack to be able to fish one day and enjoy it like I do. I'm sure all you fishermen out there want your sons and daughters to go fishing with you one day. So I think one of the biggest issues we've got in the fishing world is line. I don't know how much we pulled out of the river this year on the Daly River, is line, and I understand snags and things breaking off, and that's all good. But with that river so low, Nidge and I pulled a ton of the stuff off. Don't throw it in the bin. Make sure it goes back. These guys in the States, it's free postage. Chuck it in the thing. You don't even have to take it that day. Just put it in that pile, and when you are going to the post office, take it there and just dump it in, and they'll sort out the rest. So it just actually gets used or destroyed the proper way. So good job, striking. The other good thing is the actual spool that the line comes on has a suction cup and an adjustable tension knob. So you can, as you'll see here, it sucks it onto the side of the wall, and you put that on the side of the boat, suck it on, set the tension, get your right tension, and then spool your rod. While you're on the boat, bang, 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 ready to go. Brilliant idea that comes standard in the whole range. He did say it is a high price point for the line, so it's going to be equivalent to your Power Pros and your J Braids and stuff like that. So match up to match with those other things in there. They've done a good job for their first outing. I hope it works out as well as they're saying it is. It's a Japanese braid. It's all quality Japanese line. It's 100% fluorocarbon for that. So fingers crossed. Well done, Strike. Suffolk's brought out a really nice fluorocarbon advanced, 100% fluorocarbon. All the boxes ticked. Really high quality. Sounded like a good thing. For you fluorocarbon guys, definitely something to chuck on. They do some great lines. I definitely check that one out. Brand new product. All the way up to £80. So yeah, definitely be a good one. Give that a crack. This one I thought is a really good idea, especially those guys travelling with boats. Obviously they've got the idea and they've set it up through their pros that are constantly driving around America with the boats. But we do a lot of off-road stuff in Australia with our boats bouncing around, engines bouncing around. And basically these clips just clip on where your steering is. You've got your centralizer part, and you've got your little chrome parts of your steering rods. These little plastic Teflon, looks like Teflon or some sort of nylon or something, clips over there. So they just lock it in so it can't move. So your motor's not going to bounce around and move and shake and wiggle while it's driving on the road. So a good little idea. I thought I'd chuck that in. Definitely worthwhile. Those motors are expensive. We don't want to damage them. Yeah, shoes. Apart from getting slippers and stuff and some sort of, I guess, a bit of old school sort of boat shoes, it's hard to get a decent pair of shoes. I mean, yeah, you can go barefoot in the boats, but then your feet get cooked in the sun and all that. And if it's on most of our boats are aluminium, so it does get pretty bloody hot in the summer for us. So if it's 36 or 38 degrees Celsius and the sun's cooking, your feet just get smoked. So there's been a lot in the last couple of years of decent quality, good looking shoes like these from Under Armour. They get a Michelin sole, plenty of grip. They've got you can see they've got the drain ports in it. Really good looking shoe, something you can wear on and off the boat, and you don't look like your granddad. No offence, granddads out there. With those boat shoes, look really nice. Definitely an option for you. Good for gifts for dad on Father's Day. There you go, kids. Now, unless you haven't been watching much in fishing stuff, the Tokyo rig's huge in the States. I haven't seen it much in Australia in the barra side of things. I'm assuming it's been all used throughout the bass side and stuff. It's a really good idea. And this is a heavy duty one, so it's larger boats. So this is something you can, from VMC, this little bad boy, I think, would be perfect for actually like barra or jewfish and stuff like that, where you can just sit it on the bottom next to a bommy and just let that bait just sit there splashing around waiting for something to come and smash it. If you haven't tried it before, check them out at the local shops if they haven't. Order one in and order a couple in and give it a go. Basically, you can, where that wire comes down, you put your weights on, tungsten weights or lead weights on there, and then fold it back over so they will not come off. And then just that hits the bottom, and then the bait's that's sitting on the bottom down here, and then your bait's just sitting down, wiggling in the current or with your jig on it, and then the barra or whatever comes along and just goes bullscar. Really good thing, and definitely give it a crack. It's now in the big size for us guys. Now, one that they didn't show, I want to talk about one that they didn't show at the show, which you need to check out, BioBait. It's an American company. They do baits. I used some this year in the Barrett Classic. It's got a built-in scent, which is built into the bait. It's awesome. Swim amazing. Really, really good baits. Heaps of variety in them to get the right size. They've just released some bigger 6-inch sizes in their plastics. The good thing about it, and again for our kids and the future of fishing, it's fully environmentally friendly, the plastic. If the bait comes off and goes into the river or the lake, in 90 days that'll just dissolve down, and it's fully environmentally 100% good to go. It won't affect the fish like the rest of our plastics. It's solid, strong, doesn't tear or anything like that, so it's got all the abilities. It's just designed to, after 3 months, it's just going to disappear and not stuff up the ecosystem, which is fantastic for a bait company. Along the same lines as Strike King, where they want to get the line back. For a bait company to come out and do this, yeah, fantastic. They're a great bunch of guys. I've talked to them a few times when I ordered some stuff over to try out, and really friendly. Give them a call, send them an email. They've only been in it for a couple of years now, so if you haven't heard of them, definitely check out their website and suss it out. Really nice. And last but not least, as I said, I was a little bit disappointed that Tackle Warehouse and all the other guys that were doing stuff on the show, they just focused on fishing. Right, that seems strange as a fishing show, but they had nothing on the kayak range, like even the best of shows and stuff like that. Last year they covered everything: eskies, sunglasses, all that the extra stuff. That was sort of seemed to be left out in their coverage this year. I'm not sure if the budget or their time constraints and pressure, and they just said, well, we're just not interested in that. We just whatever we want to do. But they seem to cut out a ton of categories. Tackle Direct, the same. They had only 90 videos for the whole weekend. Tackle Warehouse did 197 on the second day, 150 plus on the first day, but only 107 on the third day. But they missed out a lot. I know BioBait was there, and they didn't really have anything on that, which is strange. And I'm sure there was a heap of others that I know I wanted to check out, but I just couldn't do it. There's not much I can do if we're not there. So it's tricky. I'm not sure their reasonings. I'm not sure they've got them. Whether they just only showed the guys that sign up with them and they're selling their products, and maybe that's it. I'm not sure. But last year it just seemed like they had a lot more of the actual show that they covered. So anyway, maybe next year I can get there and give you a full show rundown. But these guys here, Lithium Pro batteries. If you haven't heard of them, lithium's huge. All the pros use them in the States. And it's probably talking to us guys in Australia. I think it's something you need to look at. They can reduce, with trolley motors coming in and the amount of juice they suck and how much you use them, especially in tournaments nowadays. We can't anchor in the Barrett Classic, so you need to use a trolley motor if you want to sit there and flick and do those sorts of things. These are expensive, but the quality is amazing. There's an app, so it syncs to your phone, so it can tell you the battery levels, how much power it's got left, if it's dropped a cell, all that good stuff. It's all through an app through your phone, so you can connect directly to your battery, which is pretty amazing anyway. But they've got a heap of grunt too. 2 batteries, 2 36 volt batteries, and the charger I believe was $3,000 US. That sounds like a lot, but it reduces the weight because those two batteries put out 60 amp hours, and they reduced the amount of batteries, lead acid batteries, to cover what those two can do. You drop in like not 5 kilos, 10 kilos, like you're dropping a ton of weight out. So that's it. Was my highlights for the 2019 ICAST. Hope you enjoyed what I enjoyed about it. Definitely some good things. As I said, I thought there might have been a bit more. I guess I was disappointed about no tournament shirts. That was about the only major disappointment through the clothing range. And I assume there would have been a few more other things coming through, as I said in the preview. For your kayaks, a live sight external body. So if you are out there, Garmin, Lawrence, or any of those other vendors, 3D printing guys that do the custom stuff, something where you can use a live sight transducer externally away from the trolley motor with a handle on it that can bolt onto the side of the boat to use. That's what I wanted to see, something like that. That was something smart that was going to really help out. So, because as much as your trolley motor is great, if you've got a live sight or a live scope on the front, it's wherever you're pointing. And if you're cruising along, you don't have that ability to look around you. Spin around so you can face that to the side where you're going slow along the bank. You can feign it wherever and still use your trolley motor and not worry about where your trolley motor is. That's definitely needed in the industry. I think that would be required. But very happy about Garmin. I guessed that right, so I'll take that for a win. Big W. Lawrence, was really good to see that it was pretty much what I'd looked at in the previous 2-3 months ago when I did that video on my ideas on it, what was coming out and what we'd found, the leak footage, and it just come up better than what I actually expected. It looks $1 million, fantastic, great job. Some other really good ideas. So I hope they've been helpful to you, and I hope you enjoy this video. If you did like the video, hit the thumbs down. But if you did like it, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like this, hit the subscribe and the tingle on the bell. And then every time I get another movie out, you'll get to see it. I hope you all have a good day. It's time to save your money for Black Friday now. So some of these items will come through. If not, hopefully half will be through by Christmas. So start saving the pennies. So you pick out this gift guide and get ready for Christmas, and hopefully it'll all be ready and you can order it and get it in. Anyways, hope you have a fantastic day or evening wherever you are, and thanks for joining me today, and have a great day. See you later.